Oh crap! I forgot to look at the date. Oh, it's my birthday. I should have known that.
I know. It's happy birthday episode.
This episode is for Friday, April 8th, 2016. Welcome, Creator fans. I'm your host, Josh Owens, along with a special guest today.
Rye Walker.
Welcome, Rye.
98th episode. I realized that I almost timed the 100th episode perfectly, but didn't.
Well, we'll talk off camera about that.
Okay.
I think. Well, no, I'll just say it here. If you're available in 2 weeks, I think we're talking about doing a special edition episode with like you, me, Ben, maybe Abby.
Party show. Let's do it.
Yeah. I thought it'd be fun for the 100th.
Yes.
So, how you been, Rye?
Phew, man. Building a startup. It's a journey. I'd say. No, it's been fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
It's different, right?
it's like, I'd say it's either 10 or 100 times harder than us building a services company. I don't know what the right ratio is, but you know, like we do hard things because it's a challenge and it helps you grow. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. You know, we're up to 9 people now. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into the show.
Sweet.
Get my links here. So this week we're going to talk about now, not later, now. We're going to talk about mastering Meteor and Redux. React version 15 is out. And the future is without apps. It's an odd title. It's ominous. I saw the future and there are no apps. All right. So yeah, the first one, like this one kind of came out of nowhere. Have you looked at Now yet?
No. Tell me about Now.
So it's an odd name, but essentially it's almost like doing a Meteor deploy or something, or modulus deploy. You just kind of type. It looks like you just install it, and you just type Now, and basically it will deploy a version of your project, as long as it's a node project that has a package.json file. You should be good to go there. Like it deploys it to a URL, and they said think of it as like CDN for your backend, or CDN for dynamic code. That was it. So like your microservices, your backends, that kind of thing. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I really like their web design. Have you checked out the website?
Yeah, I love the little animated GIF when you first hit the page.
Of course, you like the animated GIF.
It's like typing things and stuff. Yeah.
No, but just the simple little UI, all black. You know, clearly developers developed this. But it has like good spacing too. So
yeah, the font could be a little bigger. I'm getting old, right? Like I'm turning 36 today, and yeah, I need glasses, I think.
Command plus. Is that what you
do? Yeah, totally. You know you're in trouble when you open your code editor and you have to start hitting Command plus.
Do you know much about who these guys are?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I was reading the FAQ, and I had not heard of Ziet. I guess I probably butchered that, but
Zeit?
Zeit, yeah, I don't know. But they made so they've been involved in Socket.io, and they've also been involved in Mongoose. And they've been using Node for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So the thing that I find maybe the most interesting here is, from what I can tell, there's no way to specify a URL. Like you do a deploy and it gives you a new URL every time you do a deploy.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like I don't like a CDN for your dynamic code. That would be tough to like, you know, if you're deploying a React Native app, right? And you're trying to hit the backend somehow and the URL changes, like that's going to be bad news.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think this I think it's really cool. Like the future, you know, the future of apps is, I think, thinner backends. Obviously, we're seeing that with React and everything else. But I love this. You know, it's like back to the roots of like, this reminds me of like early Modulus and obviously early Meteor. I love it when projects are in their simple phase, before there's three options for every, decision. This is a pretty cool, it's basically just Node though. It's a way to deploy Node in a very agile, streamlined way.
Yeah, yeah. So my guess is, if you're using Feathers or Express or something like that, this is going to work out of the box for you. If you're using something like Meteor, or I don't know about Sales. I should take a look at Sales, but I don't think this is going to work out of the box from what I can tell. Maybe Meteor is getting there slowly, but until like Meteor itself can be a dependency in the NPM world, like that's probably not going to be the case. So we're probably 6 months away, I guess, from that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Now. Not the most SEO friendly name for a product.
Well, you know what they should do next is make a queuing service that you can do, and they'll call that one later.
Yeah, that's not bad, Josh.
Yeah.
Here's a brander.
Yep.
Cool. All right, go to the next one. Talk about Abhi's article.
Yes. Yeah, Abhi.
Yes. So Redux, mastering Meteor and Redux, a syllabus. So he's giving us a step-by-step plan to master Redux, right?
Yeah, how to integrate Redux into your Meteor flow, I guess.
Yeah. Are you using Redux in your projects at this point?
No, I don't have it. So the Meteor 1.3 and React project I just wrapped up was probably just a little too small for Redux. Like it definitely felt some of the pain and thought it might be worth trying, but I didn't bother to go all the way down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So the interesting thing for us at Astronomer right now is we are literally doing no front end development at all, which is a really weird place for me personally to be in my world and my career. Is I've been doing front end stuff nonstop since 1995. And all of a sudden we're just working on a lot of back end stuff. So we haven't really messed around with even Meteor 1.3, unfortunately. Now, I know that Greg has spent a lot of time thinking about this and staying up on all this stuff, but we're just we're in back end. I wouldn't call it back end hell, but because it's actually really fun, cool stuff. But it's that we haven't messed around with Redux at all yet either. Maybe the listeners, I'm sure, know exactly what Redux is, right? Do you want to give a quick overview?
Sort of. It's like a new pattern that allows you to kind of control the logic flow into your application.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And I like that he's included. So he's already got the 5-parter that he did before, and he updated it to kind of be more relevant in Meteor 1.3 land. And then he included his create a remote conf talk, which he talked about Flux. And then it looks like he's got the command pattern done, but then he's got a bunch more. He's got like 8 posts in total that he wants to do going forward that kind of really deep dives into everything. And I'm excited. Like I want to see he's going to show you how to build the Minesweeper game with React and Redux. So I think that'll be a fun post. So
yeah. And so he simultaneously with the syllabus, with the 8 steps, he also published the first of the 8, called lessons. Yeah. Command pattern. And that's a nice juicy post as well. So I'm trying to see the friends I have that have recommended it. It looks like Spencer from Differentials all over this. I think he's using this stuff too. So, Redux. I've listened. I listen pretty avidly to the Creator Podcast, and I've heard you guys talking about it over the past few months, but no personal experience on it just yet.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping to get Dan Abramoff on the Space Dojo show to maybe talk about Redux and React a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to continuing to hear about this stuff.
Speaking of React, version 15 came out. So you mentioned you guys aren't doing a lot of front-end work. Are you guys still using Blaze?
No. We've started, actually what we've built on the front end is like a login, log in, log out, forgot password, all with React. he may be using Redux. I don't know for sure, but I don't think there's a lot of data stuff happening yet. So we might not have gotten to that phase.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going React.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So like this one's been coming for a while. I think we talked about it a little bit on another show, but it's actually here today. And so, this means certain things like IE8 support is gone, got
Bye
that.
bye.
As it should have, right? I mean, come on. Who the hell is using IE8?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, remember the days of like axing IE6 was a fun thing.
Yeah. Yep. I'm thinking back to IE5 too. Like, oh.
That's really terrible. We're so old, right?
I know. I remember before then.
I remember this thing called Netscape Navigator. Goodness.
No more IE8 support. What else is big in this?
Well, so the thing that I thought was interesting. I hang out in Wes Boss's chat room, and he said that he was able to upgrade to version 15. No problem. Like his course material just works in version 15. So I think the key thing here is I love that they use the whole like deprecation kind of pattern that they do. So anything that became deprecated gave you warnings starting with version 14. And then when 15 came out, it's gone. And so as long as your version 14 app doesn't give you any errors or warnings or anything, you should be good to go.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been 9 months. It sounds like since you would have been getting those warnings. So
yeah,
I think that seems very, very user friendly.
Yeah, I like it. So other than that, I think the the biggest change is that they've gotten rid of the data React IDs that they were putting on every little DOM element, and so now they're just using document.create element, which should also be it's going to make the DOM a little slimmer, but also they've gotten to the point where a create element is actually faster to run than the way they were doing it before. So should be a little speed improvement.
Yeah.
Not that React needs it, but goodness.
Yeah. It looks like beyond that, it's a lot of just seems like refactoring and just under the covers improvements. Like I like, that we remove these deprecations. We now have new deprecations and warnings, and that's it sounds like this is like a housekeeping sort of release versus a big revolutionary thing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the fact that we're getting the spans and the React IDs are going away. Those are probably the biggest two things.
Yeah.
And then SVG support's getting better. So yeah, probably. Like there's nothing major new.
Yeah.
They really kind of like 14 was probably a big change. But it's hard for me to say because I wasn't using 13.
Yes. Yep. Meteor people are newbies to the community, right?
Yeah. I loved so I follow Dan Abramoff on Twitter, and I watched him like iterating over this blog post for the changelog, and like he was trying to figure out the best way to do the changelog portion because he's linking to the issue or the pull request number plus the person's name. And I really like this format that they've got going on, so you can kind of see like who worked on it, and like you can click and get the full history of the issue and stuff. So
yeah,
I say kudos on a clean, nice changelog too.
Yeah, it's surprising how much effort can go into something as simple as that, but yeah, it makes it a lot more consumable. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yep, something to aspire to, Josh, for us all.
I don't do open source anymore.
Really? Nothing at all?
I think I own a couple packages. I just updated Share It the other day.
Why do you think that is? Is just because you're...
It's a lot of effort, man. Like I'm putting out 2 podcasts, focusing a lot on the YouTube channel and doing blog posts, and like that's just eating up a lot of time.
Do you feel like there's less to do now in the at least the Meteor ecosystem that compared to?
Yeah. I would say like the community at large really stepped up, like you and I worked on accounts entry, and then, then user accounts came out, and like that guy was doing a great job over there in Italy, Luca, and he put out like 10 different UIs to front the
Oh yeah.
user accounts package. So that was pretty awesome. And then now, with you've got like Tim putting out React user accounts package. So yeah, I just I don't know. I don't want to own open source projects right now. Like I'm too busy.
I wonder too, like with the Blaze React split makes it a lot harder to contribute. Do you think there's any of that? To do when we did the blog, package, it was just a simpler time, right? Now, if you're going to try to do something similar now, there's a lot more concerns, a lot more things to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you have to look at obviously like Iron Router was the thing back then, but if you're going to do something like a blog package, you have to think about like Flow Router, React Router, and like honestly, I probably wouldn't build anything on Blaze anymore. I wouldn't even bother to do a package on Blaze. I've actually seen firsthand the difference between Blaze and React on the same code base. So
yeah.
I've got like a super secret URL for Crater that's running React.
Oh, okay.
And it's like fast.
What's that URL?
I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, it's cool. So how did that come out? Does Telescope have a React version now?
Yeah, there's a Nova branch that Sasha's been working on, and he's done some good work with it. And so I'm trying to figure out how to pay for it, but my designer gave me a quote to make it look pretty. And so we're gonna try to that's a goal for April or May for me is to get the Nova version of Telescope deployed because it comes with SSR and all kinds of goodies. So big win.
Cool. All right, that sounds good. I remember the trip when Crater was born. Back to the reminiscing crap.
Yeah, funny. Totally. Like in that hotel room, like you were setting up email, I was setting up a server on Modulus. Like that was funny.
Why were we hustling to get that done so quickly? Do you remember?
We wanted to tell everyone at the Vanguard about it.
Oh yeah,
That was the first Vanguard meeting.
So we were like on our way to Vanguard, and we were trying to build something so that we had something fun to talk to them about.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And then I wrote that terrible blog post too about Meteor killing Rails.
Oh, that was the best blog post. Do you remember? Yeah, we could do this all day, but I just remember like Matt, like he saw that like during Vanguard, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of looked over at us.
Page of Hacker News.
Yeah, he kind of looked over at us like, not sure if I support this so much, but kind of harsh words. Anyway, all right, let's keep going.
My next article will be about Apollo killing Meteor.
Ah, yeah, Apollo killing Meteor.
Yeah.
Think that's possible?
Well, from a marketing and funding standpoint, probably, but
yeah.
All right, let's not get into that.
I know we have too much stuff to talk about here. Let's stay focused on the news. So, story number 4 here is the future is without apps, which again sounds really scary for anyone who builds apps for a living. But I don't think we mean that, right? We're talking about this is a blog post by Donnie Reynolds, easy name to pronounce.
Yeah, I like how I gave you the easy name. Crap.
Thanks, dude. A Medium post, and it's interesting. They're talking about, and I kind of scanned most of this, but I get the gist of it. That it is a pain in the ass to get people to install your app and to keep it installed, right? And to even find your app is a big pain in the butt. So
yeah.
So a theory here would be that what if apps could stream to you on demand as you need their functionality?
Right, which Google's played with and Apple's kind of playing with to some degree.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something about like Facebook Messenger having like apps, kind of like little, I don't know if mini apps or what they call it, but built into that, So it's an interesting idea. Obviously, they'd have to be really, really small to stream on demand because data is not free still, right? And some apps can be bulky. But what's your thought on the feasibility of us getting to this world?
Well, so I mean, the thing is, HTML is not where it needs to be to make this a reality, right? Like, we can't go out and make an HTML app that can tap into all the native functionality on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's our problem here. Maybe that's the right fix, is like push Safari further. But at the same time, like I should have submitted this article to Crater. I saw a scary thing on Show Hacker News, and it was like all the things that they can glean from your browser with JavaScript turned on.
Yep.
And like, there's some scary stuff in there, like they can kick off some code that starts scanning your local network if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And like they can check to see if you're logged into all these different services. It's crazy. And so it's maybe a little scary to think that we might add more capabilities to a web browser on a mobile phone, but that's really what we're lacking here. Like we can't quite access like hardware rendering very well. Like there's certainly like WebGL type technology you could play with, but at the end of the day, like a native app's gonna feel faster than an actual HTML app. So like even if you're looking at a hybrid like Cordova, where they're caching some of this stuff locally, but then you're still talking to a web app somewhere and you're still really loading a web page. Like that still presents challenges. But on the flip side, we still have the challenge of like, how do we like, it's not easy to share content from a mobile app, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like that's also a problem. And then you have the problem of like dueling, do I write a Java app? Do I write a Swift app? Do I write an Objective-C app? Or like, do I go hybrid with Cordova? Do I try to do React Native? Like all these years later, it still feels like a big mess.
Yeah. It seems like there needs to be something in between the two current states, like HTML5, versus natively installed. Like, there's a graphic in this article saying if someone shares a link with you to, in this case, it's like a recipe or something like that, via SMS, you probably experienced it where it pops over to the App Store and it wants you to install an app in order to get to that content, which is obviously a big barrier to the user experience. And there's really no reason why the final page needs to be heavier than what it needs to be to render that page, right? Theoretically, but it's a tricky. I think that's a pretty tricky problem. And as app developers, like it just feels like instead of it being mobile, or native versus mobile or HTML, somewhere in between is a weird thing. But I don't know. Are people starting to build these little like micro native or micro HTML apps for this kind of stuff? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think to me, this all boils down to trust, right? Like we trust that the App Store is keeping us safe to some degree, which has turned out to be bogus in some cases, right? Like people playing code that, or not even realizing they're deploying some library that's been hacked, which has certainly happened, ganking passwords out of apps. But there's no way to, like, if they start to relinquish control and allow the browser HTML to start doing more stuff, then they start to allow you to circumvent that trust that they've built. And that's part of why the App Store exists, right?
Yeah.
Tap into the cash market as well. But yeah, I don't know. Probably the thing that I found most interesting was that there's like a little paragraph in here about Google and the fact that, places like India and China are just coming online. Like there's a lot of people just coming online for the first time, and it's as a mobile experience, which is, different than how people in the US are maybe used to interacting with apps and stuff. And so like Google is going to run into trouble because you can't just Google everything anymore, right? Like I can't just go Google about that recipe necessarily if it's sitting behind some kind of like walled garden mobile app.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to figure this out. And I think it's like, this is going to be an even bigger problem for them going forward, because places like Africa or South America, where maybe the technology isn't as pervasive, or, it's more expensive to get a Mac or whatever, like getting a mobile phone for $100 or $50. Like that's going to be how people start interacting with the world.
Yeah. There's another line in here near the end of the article that says, I'll read it. On top of it all, what we really need is a platform-agnostic solution to app streaming that truly overcomes content delivery and discoverability problems. We want something akin to Java applets on browsers on mobile. And yes,
Yikes.
yeah, there's a yikes in there for a great reason. Java applets weren't good, but I kind of see what they're saying there. Like it was a novel idea. I don't know. It's just a really messy. It's making a really messy world for app developers if there's something in between a native app and a HTML app.
If only there was such a thing.
Yeah, there's
native.
Well, yeah.
You know what's really interesting to me is that I think Google faces this problem more than anyone, right? Like we mentioned that people are coming online and their core business is around search. Like, why aren't they creating something like Angular native? You know,
Google Angular native.
Yeah. Like, why can't I build an Angular app and have that be a native app that gets compiled down and run on a phone? Like, they own half the phone ecosystem here, don't they?
Yeah. So you feel like
why is React Native beating them to this?
Yeah. So what was I'm trying to go back up to the section on what Google built. What was theirs?
They've got app streaming and app linking, so you can basically instrument your app a little bit, and it'll know how to go in and consume some content.
Yeah.
But again, that only works for the apps that are actually like putting your like following your code guidelines.
And that's a purely native app too that it's streaming out, right? It's not any sort of hybrid-y thing. Yep.
No.
Yeah, I think we have a lot. I mean, so the pro here, though, for anyone who's getting bored with the current state of app development, is that change might be coming, and that's always good because then everything gets to get rewritten again.
Yeah, honestly, like I'll give you my 2 cents here. Like React Native is going to be it. Like I think we'll see Cordova fall off at some point. I think we'll see other solutions die off. But in reality, Facebook is killing it with React Native, and I think that even if they move away from React, I think this technology here will stick around for a long time. And the release of React Native for Mac, like that's a big thing. Like if I'm able to share 80% of my code between 3 code bases, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's just another reason why JavaScript is so important in the future of everything, right?
Totally.
So glad we decided to start doing JavaScript a few years ago full time, Josh.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Totally.
All right. Well, geniuses. I know. It was only us. I think we were the only people to ever come up with that idea.
Yeah.
So what's the next what's your next class or thing that I can pay you for?
Great.
Now, do you have another conference coming up sometime? Is it scheduled?
Oh my gosh, I do. You're totally calling me out here. I haven't gotten the webpage up for it yet, but I've got like 6 speakers lined up, and I need 6 more. Yeah. So I have to find time to sit down and get all the material together, but it was gonna be Creator Mobile Conf. But it turns out a lot of the talks are about React Native, so maybe it's like React Native or remote conf or something.
It's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
So it'll be a remote thing though.
Yeah, it'll be like the last one I did in February.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, and I like that format too because it's easier to get the videos up on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. Are you planning on doing an in-person thing again this year?
Yeah, we're doing Space Camp 2.0. It'll be in the Outer Banks this year.
Oh, wow.
We found a bigger place, so I think we can do like 50, 55 people. Man, that was so much fun, though, to just hang out with people that loved Meteor and React and all that kind of stuff. And we did some business stuff. We had some talks, but then a lot of beer and a lot of gaming at night. Yeah. So
that's good. It probably formed a much greater bond in the community among those people. So, which doesn't hurt anything. Well, cool, man. I look forward to hearing about all those things, and hope to rejoin the podcast again sometime in the future.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in. It'll be easy because like we'll each have just like one story to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right.
All right, Rye, thank you for coming on. It was awesome to have you back.
Great to be back. Yep. I
All
was
right.
just feeling nostalgic when I heard you the other day, and I had drank a few beers, and I was like, oh, an email happened, and here I am. So,
Yep. Yeah, totally.
man.
All right, guys. And if you want, make sure to check out modulus.io and digitalocean.com. Great sponsors. And Patreon, patreon.com/Meteor Club. And you can join there. $10 a month will get you into the awesome Slack chat. See you guys next week.
See ya.
This video has been a Space Dojo production. You can click the Learn More button to find out more about us at spacedojo.com. Or you can click the subscribe button to get notified about new videos we put out each week. Thanks for watching.